Okay, cool. So it looks like kind of the attendees are going to still file in a little bit, but we can get going. So I want to respect all your guys' time. So I just wanted to introduce myself really quick. So my name's Sam. I've been at Social Report for about 3-ish months now, and I'm the new product manager. But I'm an art director by trade, so I have a master's in art direction, and I've made content and social strategies for companies like Nike and Coca-Cola and TurboTax and Powerade and Porsche and the Frida Kahlo Foundation. So I've been like all over the place, but like the one constant I found is that everywhere that I go when I'm making things for people is that like I'm almost always the social media person. So I was the lead art director and kind of social strategist for Coca-Cola for about 2 years. And kind of I launched Coca-Cola onto Instagram and Snapchat. So hopefully you feel like you can trust me a little bit. Oh, this like weird thing happens where like I don't know if you guys know, but like Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter will give people awards for like the most engaging post of the year, or the most traction on a post, or the one that spread the quickest. And so I have like won a few awards from Facebook for like posting. It's the weirdest thing. Like no one knows they exist, and like for some reason I have those. So I mean, hopefully you can trust me when it comes to like some social media stuff. But I am new to Social Report, even though I've used a ton of these tools before. So I would love it if you guys asked me questions at the end and would stump me and like was something I didn't know yet, and I can mark those down and make sure we get those answers back to you. But my role here as a product manager is to come in and figure out ways that we can make this tool even better, and to kind of untangle some of the things, and kind of really make this thing flourish. And the way that I do that, right, is I talk to users like you guys. Like nothing happens unless I meet and talk with you guys, and kind of we're in a partnership now. And so hopefully this will be like a monthly event where when there's new features coming out that are complex, or we want to just cover something in more detail that I'm seeing a lot of users not understanding yet, even if it's an old feature, that I can go in there and kind of like make sure that we get into the nitty gritty of it, with you guys. And I have, just because I've been so many places, I have a ton of friends who work in the industry still at like the highest levels. And so one of my friends, Zach Kaplan, has agreed to be a webinar speaker one month. And he's doing the social strategy for all of Nike US. And so he is the smartest social media manager I have ever met, and I'm really excited for you guys to get to meet him too. So we're kicking it off, and I hope that I learn a ton this round, and you guys can learn some too, and hopefully they'll get better and better every month. So that's my little intro of who I am and what we're doing. So here's our agenda. It's really small today, but I think is deceptively small, because I want to talk briefly about Instagram kind of direct posting. That's whenever I have a one-on-one with a customer, this is the question I get asked the most. So I just want to address it up front. And if you want to leave after that, that's totally fine. My feelings won't be hurt. And then I want to talk about the power of post presets. So this is something that I see kind of routinely whenever I meet with a user and kind of go through how they're using the platform. This is something that I think is a little bit underutilized. I think we start to use it, but there's so much underneath the hood on this feature that I think is really going to be valuable to go through them, and kind of like figure out how we make this work to our best advantage. And in doing so, we'll talk about some topics like evergreen content, which is super important. We'll talk about posting schedules. We'll talk about like having CTAs on Facebook and Google. We'll talk about kind of like setting up posts so that they save you a ton of time, so you don't have to ever think about them going forward. So it's super robust tool, deceptively robust tool. And when I started, I avoided using it for the first like 2 weeks or so, and now I cannot live without it. I can't believe I was posting without a posting preset. So really quick, so Instagram, for those of you who are super new, this probably doesn't bother you too much, but a few months ago, Instagram direct posting stopped working, and we're doing everything we possibly can to get that back. This is the question everyone wants to ask me, and so hopefully I can just address it up front. There's a lot of avenues that we're pursuing. Some of them are more promising than others so far. Some are really interesting, and hopefully we'll be able to tell you guys about them soon. But until contracts get signed and things like that, it would be irresponsible for me to tell you guys. But as soon as we kind of have more on this, you will be the first to know. We will blast it as far and wide as we possibly can. And I'd be happy to take questions on this later, but I don't have anything for you right now that's different than what's on the blog and everything like that. And again, I'm super sorry that this happened, and trust me, we are working day and night to try and fix it. Reggie and I are going crazy finding solutions for you guys. So stay tuned. It's our #1 priority. But trust me, you'll know. And but let's get into the kind of the nitty gritty of this. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys about, and that I see a lot, especially with the users who are new to the platform, is that they'll click on this button right here to create a post. And that is what we call the quick compose button. So that will set up a post for you that will not give you the option to use a post preset. But there's actually 5 ways to create a new post straight from this home dashboard area. So of course you have the add something new. You can schedule a post there. You have your publishing menu, and then in the middle of that publishing menu, you can see that you can schedule a post there. You can click on any day of the calendar and you can schedule a post at that point, and that will bring up the post preset menu. This is the one that I prefer because I like to kind of like get a little bit of my scheduling out of the way if I'm going to make something new. And then of course you can click on this button next to the button that says view complete calendar. There's another schedule a post button. In each of those 2 through 5 will bring up a pop-up before you start, and it's this one, right? So would you like to use a post preset? And these are preferences you can save, like social networks and timing and things like that. And like I said, like I was like, why is this popping up in front of, like, I just want to schedule a post. Like, what is this thing? And I avoided it for a little while to my detriment, right? And so I wanted to talk to you guys about kind of the power of this thing. And the way I wanted to show you that is to talk through like an example. And so let's say that I am a pet adoption agency based in Seattle, Washington. And every Wednesday from 9 to 5, I have an open house, and anyone can come in and adopt a pet. And everything's open for business, and it's like a special day that we try and do every Wednesday. And I want to, beyond this poster that I've made with this like beautiful little pit bull, I want to make sure that everyone knows kind of what is going to happen every Wednesday, and I want to make sure that it happens on a repeating schedule on social media, and I don't want to have to think about it every Wednesday because I know we're going to be doing it. And so here are my criteria, right? I have specific profiles that I want to use. So I've found that like Facebook and Google My Business kind of do the best in terms of local events. Looks like we're frozen. Oh, weird. Targeting. I am a local adoption agency, and so I know that if I want people to come to a local event, I probably want to target around the Seattle, Washington area. And because I don't want people everywhere to be coming to this thing or to get their hopes up that they can come and adopt something if they don't live near me. What's happening here? Sorry, guys. posting schedule and evergreen posts. So I know that my adoption day happens every Wednesday all day long. And so I want to have a repeating post that goes out every Tuesday automatically without me having to worry about it. I know I'm going to do adoption days every Wednesday. This can be for like, and you guys hopefully can take these kind of ideas and apply them to your business. Obviously, you're probably not all in the dog adoption business, but apparently Google Slides doesn't work. And then I want to make sure that I can see how these are performing. If I use different call to actions, different images for this post, I want to know, does the pit bull work better? Does the Dachshund work better? Does a different type of copy work better? And I want to know kind of like how these presets are working, and I want to compare them. And so there's ways to kind of track those as well. And finally, I want to make it easy to distinguish a post like these Wednesday posts from my other posts on the calendar so that I know kind of at a glance like what is in my calendar and how I'm using it. And so here are my criteria that I want to accomplish. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do all that pretty easily just within the post presets panel. All right, let's get in there. So, and then we'll check back in with this guy and see if we covered all of them to try and keep me honest. And so, yeah, so I'm not going to click on this one. So this is a confusing thing. So I'm not going to click here. I am going to click, let's say, on any of these other ones, right? So let's say schedule post, and that's how you're going to get that post preset, and that's how we're going to choose it. But let's go into our post presets panel. So we're going to click on all post presets, and you can see that I have a ton of them in there. But I want to create a new one with you guys right now. So this big green beautiful button right here, I want to click on that new post preset, and we're going to name it. Let's name it webinar, or let's name it adoption day. Yeah, great. And I know that Facebook is where I want this post to go. I wanted Facebook, what I said? I said Google My Business, right? Okay, so I have those two of all my social networks chosen. And I'm actually going to come back to this in a little second. Okay, so we're going to click continue. We have a link shortener called Cooley. It's how you can, link shortener is actually a misnomer at this point, right? It was based on kind of Twitter used to kind of limit your characters you could use, even including links. And now Twitter kind of recognizes every link as 30 characters or so. And so link shorteners are actually like, what Cooley does is it allows you to track the clicks on any URL outside of there. We can have a whole huge discussion about this, but we're just going to click on this button that says update. And so now we have our new post preset. It's called Adoption Day, and we've attached these two profiles onto it. And so I'm going to click through on that, and we're going to have a calendar that's going to show us when we've posted content on it. And you can start to see some analytics stuff and other buttons up here. But I want you guys to actually focus on this right-hand panel right there. So I'm going to do a sneaky thing, and I'm going to bring this over, squeeze this over because we have a responsive website, and you can see that this panel popped up so that it's much bigger, and I can kind of direct your focus onto these options. So again, like I didn't do anything fancy. I just squeezed this over like that. And so you're in your post presets, and you have all the options to change and edit your post presets right here. And this is where like the beauty of this comes in. And here are all the options that we're going to change. You can see the calendar is still down here and all those guys. But I wanted to run through these with you guys to make sure that you understood what they meant. So post preset color, again, we'll get back to that in a second because I think I can show you it in a better way. But I know that I have this targeting set up, right? And I want to make sure that I get people to come from Seattle, Washington, or the surrounding area. So I'm going to click on this little cog, and I have tons of options to do my targeting inside of. Super powerful, really robust. I know that cities, I want to add something, let's say Seattle pops up. I'm going to search for it. There we go. I don't know where Seattle Heights is. If anyone knows, holler at me. Okay, so I chose Seattle, Washington, and I'm going to hit select. So this is going to target and kind of limit where my post goes such that, and I can add other ones here, like a neighboring town of Seattle is Bellevue. Oh, that was loud. Bellevue, Washington. There we go. So I want those to show up as the cities that I'm going to be targeting, and you can choose up to 250. Super robust. You could go in there and you could say only languages if that helps you, or you can go by interest. So I know that I want people who are interested in puppies, puppies lovers. That sounds great. And let's say that I have found that people in a relationship prefer to adopt more than. So now that's kind of weird, actually. Let's not do that. Let's say that the statistics have come in and females are 60% more likely to adopt a pet. So I don't know, you'll know your audience better than we will, right? But we give you tons of options to be able to kind of make sure that you're kind of focusing in on the people that you really want to target. And this type of thinking is going to become really important really soon, because we're going to start to release features for advertising and boosting within Social Report. And this is like really intelligent stuff to start honing in on and start understanding about your audience, that you can really target your posts and make sure that it gets to them. So I've added this targeting into this post preset, right? And so you can see that I have these criteria now set up there so that I know I can change these at any point. We're going to start adding in, so I'm fancy, right? So I get like special features before you guys do, but pretty soon we're going to have the ability to boost within Facebook's or within Social Reports, so you don't have to go into Facebook itself, and soon other platforms. So hopefully we'll cover that in the next webinar. So let's skip over that. So the next thing on here is your posting schedule, right? So this is super important, and this is another thing that I think is critical for, and is a really cool tool for Social Report that a lot of new users like haven't mastered yet, or haven't given a chance to learn yet. So there is no module to add it right here. So because it's its own area. So let's scroll back up to the top of the page. We're going to click on publishing, and then instead of going to post presets here, we're going to go to, where's it? Posting schedules. So let's click on that. And I want to create a new one. So I said that this happens every Wednesday. And let's say that we want a post to go out every Tuesday to make sure that people remember to come in on Wednesday for the adoption day. So I'm going to add a time. And usually what you should do, like everyone has their own secret sauce for the times they think are the best to post. I don't put unless you're using an algorithm and you're measuring your audience and you kind of have a sense of where they are. Like I think there's like a tried and true way to do this. And usually what I do just to start as like my generic one is I'll say I want a 9 a.m. spot, I want a 1 p.m. spot, and I want a 5 p.m. spot. And basically what we've seen is that like people going to work in the morning or just starting work in the morning will kind of casually look at their phones, look at their social media for a little bit before they start the day. 1 p.m. around lunchtime, right? We're on Pacific Standard Time, so it'll be a little bit earlier across the country, right? So, and 5 p.m., so a little bit after work. These are the general times in which people will probably be looking at posts. there's a ton of science, and there's a lot of people who will say, these are the specific days that work really well. I think as a general rule of thumb, you can usually see, your audience might be totally different, but you can usually see like, here's your like really solid areas, your wings, like sometimes Mondays are good and sometimes Fridays are good. But usually Tuesday through Thursday, I don't know, depending on what they're saying now, are your solid days. And then if you want, you can post on Saturday and Sunday. These have been creeping up in importance, but I guess rule of thumb is kind of, you don't really need to worry about Saturday and Sunday as much as you do your weekdays. And those are your general rules of thumb. Again, your audience might be totally different, and you'll learn about that too. One of the sneaky things inside your posting schedule that I want to call out is, you can always check and make sure you know your time zone, which you set up when you made your project. But this little guy right here is really important. And so when I'm making a posting schedule, what I'm telling Social Report is that I want posts to go out within a post preset, or when I add a post to a queue, only at these times. So 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m. If these slots are open, then you can put something in this time period. Oh, and I'm only saying you can put one post in that time period that's in a queue. If I have more posts that I could potentially send out and I tell it to queue, I can say, I can put 2 posts. So 2 posts can go out at around 9 a.m., around 1 p.m. or 5 p.m., and so on and so forth, right? You can go up to 15 posts in this time period. That would be a lot of posts. I usually keep it at 1. So hopefully that made sense. Posting schedules are super important, and especially if you have an event or something like that you always want to have a day in which this goes out. Like there's one client who I saw who had funny fact Fridays, and I thought that was such a great idea. And like they just had a posting schedule where they just had times on Fridays where these posts could go out, and they knew when they wanted it to happen. So your use case might be totally different, but hopefully these kind of can apply across the board. So I made this one. The last thing, or maybe the first thing you want to do, is set up your name for this thing. So let's to keep parity with the other one, let's say Adoption Day, ! And this is my posting schedule for Adoption Day. Hit save, and now we have another one in there. So sometimes, so that's not the right one. So let's refresh really quickly. And let's bring this over again so we can zoom in on these guys and maybe you can see it a little bit clearer. I get ADD, so if there's something else like around, I can't focus on it. So posting schedule. So there we go, Adoption Day. So I'm going to click on that, and now this post preset is going to know that those are the times in which this post can go out when I add it to my queue. Review content before it's published. So this is something if you have, excuse me, this is something that if you have lots of people on your team working together and you want a post that's created to have to be reviewed before it can go out, you can say everything in this post preset, it needs to be reviewed before it can go out. I don't need this for my example right now, but you might. You might have a post preset where you have a team working together and you want to make sure it looks good before it goes out and it's available for the client. Or vice versa, you want to create work and you want the client to approve it. And so instead of having to toggle that on and off every time, you can just say yes or no here, and then it will automatically save that preference. Calls to action, right? So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to call to action on Facebook and Google. And so you can set up a little button on your post that say, whatever the standard CTAs for Facebook are. So shop now might work. It's kind of not really shopping though. It's kind of, we're more like adopting. So learn more if I had a sign up of some sort. So you can have a CTA within Facebook that kind of garners more clicks. Let's say learn more for this one as well. And you can hit save. So I have like a little example. If you guys are unfamiliar with this, like if this was my post, isn't this image great? This is my this is my image for my adoption, my fake adoption agency. I love it. So if so here's a post that I have that like has a little CTA on there, so it has like the learn more button. So hopefully that makes sense. Super useful. So I'm back again to my post preset panel. Link frames and earnings setups could probably be its own whole entire session. So let's just go over the basics right now, and then post presets. Post preset color. So let me undo all this. So post preset color, that's the color that you're going to see in the top right. So let's create a post right now, and then I'll show you how we can change that. So we're going to schedule a post within this post preset. We can also click here, schedule a post, and we can use the post preset there as well. So let's go back. Let's schedule a post from here. And now you can see that we have our timing already done. It's based on our posting schedule. We can change it if we want. Reviews are not on because I said no, but if we had said yes, our reviews would automatically be on. So you don't have to worry about that. We know that our selected profiles are automatically Facebook and Google, so we don't have to choose those at all. Boosting, I'll talk to you guys about very soon. And so you have like a lot of these things already set up for you. So you, every time, adopt more pets. Oh, actually I should write, what am I doing? I should write about our adoption day. Sorry, I'm actually traveling for work right now. I'm in Mexico, and they don't have any bottled water here. So my throat's a little dry. Okay, so adoption day, Wednesday, please join us. We can add an image. Let's add this puppy. There we go. So this is the posting schedule that's set up right. So I can always schedule that thing. And I could make it evergreen here, but I want to show you how to make it evergreen across your entire post preset. I'm going to override this posting schedule because sometimes you need to post it right now, right? So I'm going to say post right now instead of the saved one, and say schedule just so I can show you guys. And you can make sure that this caption is correct. This will show up in Facebook. And so there we go. So we have made our first post and our post preset. The thing that I want to show you, so you may be wondering why there's this gray circle here on all your posts in your calendar. And that's actually your post preset color. And so you can see that they're both gray right now. And so what you can do is click on this and change it to whatever you want. And this allows you to, so see that it's blue now. So now all your different post presets at a glance, as you know, obviously it's pretty clear right now what we're doing, but when you have 30, 40 posts in your calendar, at a glance you can see which one belongs to which posting preset. And it gives you a really great sense of like the health of your posting schedule and your content calendar and how it's all shaking out. The last thing that I wanted to show you guys is that I told you that every Wednesday this happens, right? And so I don't want to think about having to send this post out every Wednesday. And so since we've set up our posting schedule and we know the days in which this will go out, we can make all of our posts on this preset evergreen. So what does that mean? So that means every time I create a post, so let's just draw it out really quick, actually. We're kind of doing this on the fly. We'll see how it goes. But I'm feeling feisty. So I just created one post, right? This is post number one. If I go into that post preset and I create another post under that post preset, that will be post number 2. And so on. Because I've labeled these as evergreen, what this means is that I'm going to turn it green. Isn't that fun? So when I make my 3rd post on this one, if I don't make a 4th post to fill up my posting schedule, Social Report knows. I'm sorry, guys, I'm dying. Social Report knows that it's going to go back to the very first evergreen post that we made or the next one in your queue, and it's going to post that one. This is getting brutal. And so it knows like, okay, we're done with this one. We're going to cycle all the way back. And so I don't have to ever worry about creating new content if I have enough evergreens in my queue. You want to have a bunch of evergreens, and I think the kind of rule of thumb is you can have about 20% of your content calendar can be evergreen or syndicated content. So 80% of it should still be original content that you're creating every time, but you can always pad it with evergreen content. And it is really helpful for you, saves you a ton of time, and it's kind of the best practice. The reason it's best practice is because like consistency is super important in social media, and kind of showing that you have the same aesthetic and the same look going out every time is going to be really important for you to build your audience and make sure that they know kind of like what your brand is and kind of where you like what your focus is on. Hopefully that makes sense. And the other part is syndicated content, and we can go through a whole thing on syndicated content. That's like a really fun area as well. But hopefully this makes sense. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking into the void, so hopefully this whole thing is good. I don't know what's happening out there. So I think I covered everything. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. So if we go to, let's go to the project actually. So I want to show you guys how you can see data, data on this. So all my post presets, let's say this one. So when your post presets start to move and you start to use them, you can start to see data on them and how people are clicking on your links, what conversions you're getting if you're setting up conversion tracking, and we can talk about that in a whole other episode of webinars. But you can get through and like see your link clicks and see kind of like what people are going to, how this thing is working, your worldwide distribution, so you can see if you're setting up a local post and you're getting hits from Italy somehow, you're like, something's not working right here. So it gives you a way to kind of like check on all these things and seeing how they're working together. I'm trying to go a little quick now because I want to give you guys plenty of time to ask questions. And so you can also see like, hey, my post preset's been active for 1 day. It's generated this many clicks and this many conversions. And so you can make sure that this thing's working. If it's not, you can tune it up. Oh, also your evergreens. Remember how I said this is an evergreen post now? So I made the entire preset evergreen, which means I get this little cute leaf here, which lets me know that this post will recycle. So you want things that can be evergreen, right? Is relevant at any time. You don't want to say like Happy New Year and have that go out in the middle of March. And so You want these things to be generic, but things that perform well. So let me see if I covered everything in here. Specific profiles, right? So yeah, we set up Facebook and Google My Business. They'll automatically be the things we post to whenever we use that post preset. We did call to action buttons. We did targeting. So we targeted for people in Seattle, and we also went one step further, right? We found puppy lovers and what else did we do? We did male, female stuff, but I don't know. That's all kind of weird to me. Posting schedule on Evergreen posts. So it happens every Wednesday. We set it up for every Tuesday at those 3 kind of like generic times. I need water. And then I made it repeat. And so it happens and it happens every week whenever, and as we add more posts in there, we know that it'll recycle through them starting from the first one we made through to the last. We looked at some analytics, we looked at some link clicks. So as you start using these, you'll get to see how well or not well they're performing, and you can make adjustments, right? And then I showed you how you can change the post preset color so that within your calendar, you can see at a glance all your different presets. And so, you know, post presets isn't the biggest tool in Social Report, but like I would not be able to live without it now, and it saves me so much time. And so I hope that, rundown was helpful for you guys. And if you guys, I wanted to give you guys plenty of time. So I think we have 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes to ask questions. And if I can answer them, I'll do my best. And hopefully that was helpful. So yeah, shoot some questions over if you have them. But that was our webinar. Let me open this up. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's lots of questions in here. All right, let me pop this panel out. Cool. Oh my God, this is exciting. Publishing to Instagram. Yeah, we can direct publishing to Instagram. We're working really hard to get it back. We can talk to you about mobile, the mobile publishing, if that helps. Friendiversaries. Nice. Okay, so IG. So if your mobile app is not publishing, so there's a ton of questions about Instagram in here. So if you can reach out to support, I can go maybe for the next webinar, I can make sure to really run through exactly the best practices in terms of doing the mobile publishing. If you need something addressed like right now, my recommendation would be just to reach out on Intercom, and Reggie and the team can show you exactly how to do it. There's also, let me see if I can just pull it up really quick. Where's my help center? I'll need to show you guys a link to the exact page, but there's kind of a walkthrough of how to do that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so regarding post presets, I found it's not helpful if the same image in 2 sizes. 60 by 9 and Instagram 1 by 1. I've created separate post presets or create 2 separate posts within the preset and make sure only select the correct channel. Ideally, I'd like to be able to assign a different image for each channel. And yes, that is definitely something that we're thinking about doing. Pam asked a great question, which is making sure that you can assign those image specifications per post preset. So that's a feature that we definitely want to work on. Okay. Let's see. Megan is asking. We do use post presets. I have a preset for each client, and like you, when I'm creating posts, I click on the date and the calendar first, which pulls up an option to pick which preset you want. However, I have recently that not all my presets show in the dropdown. I eventually have to go through the other steps and go to the preset location and find the preset I want to post under. Is there only a certain presets? So there should not be, I don't know, Reggie can keep me honest here, but I don't think there should be a limit to the number of presets. Occasionally a preset will be paused by social report if it feels like you aren't using it, or it feels like there's too many evergreen content pieces going out and it's left behind. But there shouldn't be any reason why those are not showing up. So that might be something to if you can send us a screenshot on support or intercom, I would love I would love to take a look at that. That's super bizarre. Okay, David's asking, when you add the interest in demographics, how does it work when the demographics are different from Facebook to Instagram? So so you have 2 separate demographics that you're posting that you need to try and target, and they're each different on Facebook and Instagram. So in terms of that, I think that's a really interesting use case. So I think the best solution for you, I think you should unfortunately have 2 different presets if you want to have it auto, if you want to save that targeting stuff, because that can, whenever you're trying to target, especially when we get into like doing ads, you're going to want to save that information in there, and that will probably save you more time. And while you lose a little bit on the link, on the tracking from Instagram to Facebook on those different presets, I think you would save yourself in time. So Pam is asking, sometimes when I have a post at 8:42 a.m., the post will send out an automated post at 9 a.m. block. I know that we stagger a little bit of our posts, and sometimes there could be something going on with Facebook or any of these other platforms that can delay that. So it's less on, it could depend on what the social network's doing that's causing a little bit of a delay. I know that they're like, we have to stagger our posts a little bit. 20 minutes seems a little bit long. I don't know. We should keep watching that and seeing if that continues. Let's see. So yes, the evergreen goes in order from the first one you made all the way through to the last evergreen that's in that preset. And so it will go like numerically. So it behooves you to have multiple ones in there. A lot of you guys are commenting on my coughing. I'm really sorry. I don't know if tequila works yet, although it's getting close to the afternoon. If we set a target, can we expect less reach? So targeting is in essence restricting your post, right? It should be, and like Hootsuite does this, and I think Sprout does this too, is they don't call it targeting anymore, they call it restricting. So this gets into a whole conversation about organic reach and paid reach. And this is a topic I definitely want to cover with you guys, and maybe it deserves more time, but like organic reach, the reach that we mainly do on Social Report without any paid stuff is waning, right? Like the circle that Facebook, like Facebook is like constricting the audience you guys have built and like worked really hard to build, and they're turning it into kind of less and less people. So if you have an audience of 100, chances are that 2 people organically could see your post, right? And Facebook and Instagram are becoming more and more pay to play, which is why we're talking a lot about kind of adding our boosting functionalities to Facebook in particular. So you might see, you potentially could see less reach, but you give that up for a more targeted persona, right? So Facebook restricts it, but they know that these are the people you're trying to hit more. So you should be the judge of the efficacy, right? Is my targeting or restricting helping me, or is it hurting me? And then you have to get into like vanity metrics. So it's a great question, Heather. Okay, yeah, love for post presets. Thanks, Valerie. So I'm pretty sure Valerie asked if I create a post preset, and and I change that preset, will it update my future posts? That's a great question. I don't know. Let's try. So we are going to schedule a post. We're going to use our preset. And let's say we're going to change, we're going to add it to our queue, which will go at 5 p.m. Oh my gosh. Maybe I do need some tequila. Let's actually say we're going to post it tomorrow, 5 p.m. Schedule that. Publication minute 0. Okay, so we have this post preset that's in the future. Let's go and change some things about it and see that it probably won't change because I actually changed that. We could remove the profiles from the post preset and see if one of those goes away. So let's go into publishing, post presets, adoption day. I want to change my target profiles over here. And let's get rid of Google. So update that. Okay, so that's gone. Now let's go back and look at that. Yeah, it updated. So Google My Business is gone. Okay, so is this material on video to go back and reference? Yes, so we are recording this thing, I think, and hope and wish and pray. Yes, we are recording it, looks like. So yeah, we should be able to do that and share it with you. I'm glad you found it helpful. So Evergreen content will pull from a specific preset if you have it set up and only those posts recycle. Yeah, so from that preset, those posts will recycle to it. Yeah, so you're right, Sandra. Just wondering if We have Google Analytics, but we currently don't have any plans to work with Data Studio to the best of my knowledge here. Um, I have an automatic post that goes as a draft on Facebook. Why is that? So, David, when you look at this, is it creating, can you check and make sure that this toggle is on or off? Because it shouldn't, or I would just need to see a little bit more to see why, but maybe it's having you make a review before it is going. I'm trying to get through everyone's questions. I know, I'm really sorry, Sandra, about Instagram. It's the worst. Yeah, Vina, I covered Instagram for, a little bit earlier, but and yes, the mobile app is definitely going to be updated very soon. We have a ton of really great designs, and we're hopefully going to launch that as soon as humanly possible. So I know it'll be a huge update for you guys, and we'll make it a lot easier to do all this Instagram posting. The Instagram thing, unfortunately, is we have a ton of avenues that we're pursuing. We are working really hard to get it back for you guys until we sign some contracts or like get some official deals done. It'd be irresponsible for me to tell you, what companies are involved and stuff like that. But lots of fun stuff happening. Reggie and I are working our tails off and on getting it for you guys and getting a solution in there for you guys. So stay tuned. I'm really sorry again. Um, uh, yeah, and what's the optimal size across platform posting? And do you make a separate image for each social media platform? So I think adding as we talked about earlier is like the sizes are changing constantly. I think we have like a really great blog post about like the right image size per network. Um, and I'm pretty sure the marketing team can keep me honest about that. If it's not out right now, it's going out very soon. That will give you kind of the best practices in terms of sizes. Right now, we need to give you guys, I think, more tools in terms of adjusting those sizes within each post so you're not having to create different posts for each one, Sandra. We don't use Evergreen and we post to each one monthly. Yeah, if you want, I mean, Evergreen is super useful. I mean, best practice across like everyone that I've talked to is like 20%. But yeah. You can send your screenshot. If you can just send your screenshot to the intercom, this little guy down here, and set up a chat, they'll know like to share that with me. Just let me know the. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm glad that Evergreen was helpful. Okay, so more info on Pam's delay. So, I thought you had an Evergreen scheduled in a 9 a.m. block for 1 hour. Then social report would check if there is a post already scheduled for sometime between 8:30 and 9:30. If there's a post already scheduled, then don't post the Evergreen. But if it's empty, then post an Evergreen. My experience, I've scheduled a post during an Evergreen slot, and social report posted a second Evergreen post anyway. Oh, that's weird. Um, okay, so Pam has a question about Evergreens and posts being slotted in, even though she said to do one post per like slot. Can you send us a screenshot or something, Pam? I'm really sorry. I want to dig into this because that's really interesting. Yeah, I know. I need water. I'm sorry. Okay. Then if you want, we can set up kind of like a one-on-one and we can just chat, and I can kind of like hop in there and see how you're using it, and see if there's any like best practices or tips. So yeah, Valerie. So if we go back here, oh, that's our team. Our CS team is so great. Um, so when we go into the post preset, click on that post preset, and then you can click on this button. It won't say, is it Evergreen? If I click this, toggle it off, these posts are now Evergreen posts. Toggle it back on, all of them will be Evergreen. Yeah, using a different image per platform would be great. Okay, guys. Yeah, okay, awesome. So this was great. I really liked it. I hope you guys learned some stuff, or it was at least fun. And we'll hopefully be back next month with another one. So I'm gonna go find some water. And thank you guys so much for your time. All right, take care.